So there's a king, just but terrible. And above all things, he loves his bride. And he dresses her in a white gown. It is simple, but elegant. He loves her more than 1,000 kingdoms. And he's going to go on a long trip. So he calls you, the steward, into his throne room. And he hands you a book, a document. And he says, "Steward, you are going to care for my wife. You are going to care for her. Now you know what she means to me. And you know that your life depends on your actions. Now everything you are to do and not to do, it's written here in this document. Do not fail me, steward." The king goes off on a long journey. And the journey is so long that the steward begins to recognize, you know what? The people are kind of losing interest in the king. And they're losing interest in the king because they're losing interest in his bride. I mean, she seems so old-fashioned, so plain. So he gets an idea. I'll take off that simple white gown. And I'll dress her and paint her face like a whore. And then what I'll do is I'll parade her in front of carnal men. And now she will draw them back because she is now to their liking. What will that king do when he returns? He will kill that steward. Don't be afraid for the atheist on the day of judgment. Be afraid for a lot of evangelical pastors because that's exactly what they've done. They've dressed the bride of Christ up like a whore. Because they're not men of the word and they're not men of prayer, they try to make the church look alive through mechanics and mechanisms and cogs and wheels. And in order to keep the carnal majority happy, they allow the bride of Christ and the children of God to starve to death. Now you say, what does this have to do with missions? Absolutely everything. Because from the very beginning of planting a church, from the very beginning of going out, you should not even think about sending out an immature man to do this work. Why? Because you're going to jeopardize the bride of Christ. This is a fearful thing. Does no one fear God anymore?